Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Donald Trump tells Britain he does not need its help to win the Iran war. Trump adds he will remember a lack of British support during the conflict with Iran. Assembly of Experts, Iran's clerical body which chooses its supreme leader, is said to have more or less reached consensus on Khamenei's successor. As Israel warns, it will go after whoever is picked. On International Women's Day, President Draupadi Murmu calls for collective commitment to create equal opportunities for women and shape a more equitable future. And defending champions India to take on New Zealand in the T20 World Cup final at Ahmedabad. New Zealand eye a first T20 World Cup title. Well, US President Donald Trump has criticized British Prime Minister Keir Starmer over reports that the United Kingdom was considering sending aircraft carriers to West Asia amid the ongoing conflict with Iran. In a Truth Social post, Trump said that the UK, once a great ally, was finally giving serious thought to deploying 2 aircraft carriers, but added that the US did not need them any longer. He remarked that US doesn't need people that join wars after they've already been won, adding that he would remember the initial reluctance. This followed the UK Ministry of Defence's announcement placing HMS Prince of Wales on heightened readiness with a 5-day deployment notice, though no final decision has been taken yet. Prime Minister Starmer initially blocked US offensive use of British bases, but later approved limited defensive operations from RAF Fairford and Diego Garcia after Iranian missile threats to allies. US forces started utilizing these sites on Saturday to counter Iranian missiles. Now, Donald Trump has said he was not interested in negotiating with Iran and raised the possibility that the conflict would only end once Tehran no longer has a functioning military or any remaining leadership in power. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Saturday, Trump said the air campaign could make negotiations a moot point if all potential leaders of Iran are killed and the Iranian military is destroyed. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has said on Sunday that Iran will not bow to pressure from the United States and Israel, insisting the country's position is rooted in defending sovereignty and resisting aggression. In his remarks, Pezeshkian accused Washington and Tel Aviv of attempting to sow division among Islamic nations.
The enemy wants us and the Islamic country to be at war. They want to create division between us and them. Time and again we have said and continue to say that the intention and goal of late leader has been that we consider the neighboring countries as our brother and that our relation with them should be good. But what is happening is that if from any country they attack our soil and carry out aggression, naturally we are obliged to respond to them. When we respond to them, this does not mean that we have a dispute with that country. It does not mean that we want to upset the people there.
Now, Iran's clerical body selecting the supreme leader has reached a decision. According to the Assembly of Experts' member Ayatollah Mohammad Mir Bakeri. 2 members of the panel said the assembly had chosen a successor after the demise of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. According to the Iranian media, it said that the group had a minor disagreement over whether they would need to meet in person to issue their final decision or bypass this formality. On the other hand, Israeli military has warned it would continue pursuing every successive Iran slain supreme leader who was killed in the US-Israeli strikes on Iran in the first wave itself. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to persecute the conflict against Iran with full force, saying Israel has a plan to eliminate the country's leadership.
You are telling me the government, the soldiers and our heroic commanders to continue until the end, until victory. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, and I inform you we are continuing with all our force. In war, you win with initiative and cunning, but the first element of success is determination.
The conflict is now in its second week and has intensified with Iran launching missiles and drones across the Gulf. US and Israeli forces struck Tehran airport, oil depots and military sites. Iran claimed attacks on a US base in Bahrain and targeted shipping. Regional spillover also includes strikes in Lebanon, explosions in Gulf states, and intercepted threats near Riyadh and Dubai. In fact, let's get you a roundup of day 9 of the ongoing conflict in West Asia.
US President Donald Trump rejects deployment of UK aircraft carriers to Gulf war. Trump says he does not need United Kingdom to deploy aircraft carriers to the Middle East. Trump wrote on Truth Social account, and I quote, "We don't need people that join wars after we have already won." US President Donald Trump says he is not interested in negotiating with Iran at this point. Trump adds air campaign could make it a moot point if all potential leaders of Iran are killed and the Iranian military is destroyed. Trump said, "At some point, I don't think there will be anybody left, maybe to say we surrender." China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi calls Middle East conflict a war that should never have happened. Wang said that as a sincere friend and strategic partner of Middle Eastern countries, China is willing to work with them to implement global security initiatives, restore order to the Middle East, tranquility to its people, and peace to the world. Iran's Revolutionary Guards says country's forces could fight an intense war for 6 months against the United States and Israel. The Guards, Iran's elite force, also said that they had targeted more than 200 locations related to American and Israeli bases and facilities across the region. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Revolutionary Guards who surrender weapons will not be harmed. Netanyahu added that many countries suffering offenses from Iran have made contact and Israel stands with them. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry says it foiled drone attack on Riyadh's diplomatic quarter. No injuries reported. Dubai authorities said an Asian man was killed in western Al Barsha area after debris from an aerial interception fell onto a vehicle. Earlier, Emirates Airline briefly suspended flights to and from Dubai, with the authorities citing a minor incident resulting from a fall of debris after an interception. Bahrain says 3 people injured, material damage inflicted on university building in Muharraq following Iranian aggression. Bahrain's interior ministry says Iranian drone attack caused damage to a water desalination plant. Lebanon's health ministry says that an Israeli strike on a hotel in central Beirut killed at least 4 people, with Israel saying it had targeted commanders from Iran's Revolutionary Guards. In southern Lebanon, the official national news agency said at least 12 people were killed in 3 separate strikes overnight. Bureau Report, DD India.
In Kuwait, a government office building in Kuwait City, which is the capital of the country, was targeted in a drone attack on Sunday. The army reported that Kuwait International Airport's fuel storage tanks were also hit in a drone attack, while a government building housing the Public Institution for Social Security headquarters was still smouldering. Sunday morning, as firefighters worked to extinguish the blaze, which engulfed it overnight. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has addressed a press conference on Sunday during China's annual political gathering, which began this week, known as the Two Sessions. The Foreign Minister addressed a range of issues, including a trade war with the United States, regional tensions in the South China Sea, as well as the ongoing conflict in West Asia. Speaking at the press conference, the Foreign Minister condemned the ongoing US-Iran conflict and said that power cannot be abused.
Force must not be abused. A strong fist does not mean strong reason. The world cannot return to the law of the jungle. Using force at every turn cannot prove one's own strength, and the people cannot become innocent victims of war.
Italy is sending a naval frigate to waters near Cyprus after a drone strike on a British base on the Mediterranean island raised fears of the conflict spreading. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said the move was an act of European solidarity, while making clear that Italy will not be part of the conflict.
Ensure the security of the European Union's borders, we are deploying an Italian frigate to Cyprus, an act of European solidarity, but above all, of prevention. But our position is very clear. Italy is not part of the conflict and does not intend to become part of it. We are doing everything we can to reduce tensions and to see whether there is still a chance to resume negotiations.
The Italian Prime Minister also said that Italy is working with major European allies to prevent further escalation in West Asia while taking steps to protect national interests and citizens.
In these hours, we have promoted close coordination between Italy, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, launching cooperation among 4 major European states to address the crisis together and strengthen diplomatic action. With French President Macron, German Chancellor Merz, and British Prime Minister Starmer, we have shared the need to work together to avoid, as much as possible, further escalation and to contribute to international stability.
The Arab League is set to hold an emergency meeting on Sunday to discuss Iranian attacks across the region, including in the Gulf. The meeting, which will be held through a video link, was requested by Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, Jordan and Egypt. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Gheith had earlier condemned the Iranian attacks, saying that they are fully reprehensible and not only a blatant violation of international law and the UN Charter, but also an assault on the principles of good neighborliness. EU leaders Antonio Costa and Ursula von der Leyen are holding a video conference with West Asian leaders on Monday to discuss the situation in the region. A spokesperson for EU Council President Antonio Costa said on Friday that the exchange will provide an opportunity to hear leaders' assessments of the situation and to discuss further support from the EU and its member states to countries in the region, as well as ways to bring the current conflict to an end. Earlier, foreign ministers of all 27 EU members discussed the situation in Iran and broader West Asia with their counterparts from the Gulf Cooperation Council in a video call on Thursday. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Donald Trump attends a dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base for 6 US soldiers killed in the Iran war. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates New Delhi metro corridors in the national capital.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, US President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump attended the return of 6 American service members killed in a drone strike, the first US troops to die in the West Asia conflict. Trump, wearing a white USA baseball cap, saluted as flag-draped cases carrying the soldiers' remains were carried off a military transport plane at Dover Air Force Base. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth were also present at the airport. The troops were killed last Sunday when a drone struck a U.S. command center in Kuwait, a day after the United States and Israel launched their military campaign against Iran. All 6 service members were assigned to the Des Moines, Iowa-based 103rd Sustainment Command. Anti-war demonstrators gathered outside England's Fairford Royal Air Force Base on Saturday as the US Air Force began operations from the British base in the escalating West Asia conflict. A B-1 Lancer bomber and a C-5 Galaxy transport were also seen on the runway. The UK government has confirmed the US is using RAF Fairford and the Diego Garcia base for limited defensive operations to prevent missile attacks from Iran. And more than 1,000 people marched through the French capital of Paris to call for the liberation of the Iranian people. Demonstrations also took place across Europe, Africa and the Americas, with some protesting against Iran's current regime and others expressing support for its late supreme leader, who was killed in the first US-Israeli strikes on Iran. The US Embassy in Oslo was hit by an explosion on Sunday, causing minor damage but no injuries. A thick cloud of smoke was seen rising from the area after the incident. Search for the perpetrators of the blast is ongoing, while no further explosive devices were found in the area in the Norwegian capital. Tornadoes and strong storms killed at least 8 people and injured more than a dozen in southern Michigan on Friday in the U.S., destroying multiple homes and leaving hundreds of residents without power. Tornado warnings were issued Friday for parts of Michigan, and social media videos from Three Rivers in Union City showed whirlwinds tearing roofs off buildings and lifting debris. Local footage showed damaged buildings, cars and toppled trees, poles and signs. Branch County reported 3 fatalities and a dozen injuries, while Cass County had 1 death and several injuries. Cass County officials said multiple structures, including homes and pole barns, were severely damaged or destroyed. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer activated the State Emergency Operations Center to monitor the situation. Closer at home, Nepal's Rashtriya Swatantrata Party rapper turned politician Balendra Saha secured a majority in the direct parliamentary elections. Counting is underway for 28 constituencies and final results have been declared for 135. The RSP has 106 and is leading in 18 seats under the first past the post system. Nepali Congress won 15 seats and is leading in another 3. The UML has won 7 seats and is leading in 3, while the NCP has won 6 and is leading in 2. Now, as the world celebrates International Women's Day this year, the focus is on rights, action and justice for all women and girls. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Sunday wished every woman on the day, saying, and I quote, "By fighting discriminatory laws and practices and defending the progress already achieved, we can ensure the dignity, opportunity and freedom all women deserve. When we are not equal under the law, we are not equal. It's time to make justice a reality for women and girls everywhere." End quote.
Human rights and investing in women and girls is one of the surest way to make the world a better place. Women and girls are changing the world. It's time to change the world for women and girls.
And at home, President Draupadi Murmu graced the national-level International Women's Day celebrations organized by the Ministry of Women and Child Development at the Manekshaw Center in New Delhi on Sunday. In her keynote address, President Murmu highlighted the government's efforts to boost girls' education in schools and in higher education.
दशक में महिलाओं के सामने आने वाली रुकावटों को दूर करने के लिए मजबूत नींव रखी गई है। भारत ने स्कूल एजुकेशन में जेंडर पैरिटी प्राप्त कर रही है। हायर एजुकेशन में भी ग्रॉस एनरोलमेंट रेशियो की दृष्टि से बेटियों की संख्या अधिक है। साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग एंड मैथमेटिक्स एकजुट है। एजुकेशन में महिलाओं की भागीदारी तेजी से बढ़ रही है। केंद्रीय बजट 2026-27 में प्रत्येक जिले में एक महिला छात्रावास की स्थापना का प्रावधान किया गया है, जिसमें स्टेम की छात्राओं को अपने अध्ययन को जारी रखने में सहायता मिलेगी।
And Prime Minister Modi conveyed his warm wishes on the occasion of International Women's Day through social media. The PM said, and I quote, "On International Women's Day, I extend my greetings to all our Nari Shakti. Across every field, women are shaping India's progress with determination, creativity and unmatched zeal. Their achievements inspire our nation and strengthen our collective resolve to build a Viksit Bharat. Empowerment of women is at the core of our various schemes and initiatives. We remain committed to creating opportunities that enable every woman to realize her full potential and contribute to India's journey of development." Unquote. Now, every year on the 8th of March, the International Women's Day is celebrated to honor the achievements and rights of women. In India too, Prime Minister Modi-led government has introduced various schemes placing women's empowerment at the centre of policy and development. This report has the details.
The participation of women is imperative for the making of a Viksit Bharat or a developed India. Recognizing this, the central government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched several schemes for women's education, health, economic empowerment and safety. Launched in 2015, the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme has evolved into a national movement for girl-child empowerment, focusing on mindset change, gender equality and multi-sectoral interventions. Under the Stand Up India scheme, women can access loans from Rs 10 lakh to Rs 1 crore with up to 7 years for repayment, making it easier to start or grow a business independently. The Lakpati Didi scheme is another step towards women's economic empowerment. A Lakpati Didi is a self-help group member whose household earns over Rs 1 lakh annually. The government has a target to create 6 crore Lakpati Didis. Under the Jan Dhan Yojana, a large number of women have opened bank accounts, increasing their financial participation. The Union Budget 2026 has introduced provisions for self-help entrepreneurs via Shimart. The new program will establish community-owned retail outlets in every district. The Namo Drone Didi scheme empowers rural women by equipping selected women self-help groups with drones to provide rental services for precision agriculture. Under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, free LPG connections have been provided to women from poor households. To increase women's representation in politics, Parliament has also passed the Women's Reservation Bill, paving the way for reserved seats for women in the Lok Sabha or the lower house and state legislative assemblies in the future. By investing in the well-being of women, these initiatives have also been contributing to inclusive growth and long-term development. Bureau Report, DD India.
Time now to talk about sports. In Ahmedabad's Narendra Modi Stadium is all set to host the final of the 2026 T20 World Cup on Sunday. India and New Zealand will face each other in the final. Let's take a look at the stadium's T20 record and India's performance in this special report.
Ahmedabad's Narendra Modi Stadium is all set to host the T20 World Cup final between India and New Zealand. With the capacity of 1,32,000, this is the largest cricket stadium in the world. India is going to play its third match in T20 World Cup. They won their group match against Netherlands in this stadium but lost their Super 8 match against South Africa. India will be playing its second ICC final in this stadium. They lost the 2023 ODI World Cup final here against Australia. If we talk about T20 cricket, India has played 10 T20 matches here. They have won 7 and lost 3. If we talk about the total T20 matches played in this stadium, then a total of 14 matches have been played here. Teams batting first have won 8 out of them and teams batting second have won 5. One match was tied, that famous double super over match between South Africa and Afghanistan. If we talk about New Zealand, then New Zealand has played 2 T20 matches here and they have lost both of them. South Africa defeated New Zealand by 7 wickets in this World Cup when New Zealand played here last. In this World Cup, total 6 matches have been played at this venue. Teams batting first have won 3 and teams batting second have won 2. If we talk about the highest score in this World Cup, then South Africa's 213 for 4 against Canada has been the highest score in this stadium in this World Cup. And New Zealand has not crossed 200 till now in this World Cup, and we are expecting a high scoring match in the final. An Indian team has crossed 250 twice in their last 3 matches. So we'll have to see how the final pans out and who is going to become this year's T20 World Champion. With camera person SP Dubey, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India in Ahmedabad.
And India's badminton star and world number 12, Lakshya Sen, will take on Lin Chunyi in the men's singles of the All England Open in Birmingham later today. For Lakshya, it will be about revenge as he lost to the same opponent in the quarterfinals of the India Open in January. The Indian shuttler showed great resilience in his semi-final victory over Canada's Victor Lai, a match that lasted 1 hour and 37 minutes. He sealed a 21-16, 18-21 and 21-15 victory, and the match tested his physical endurance as multiple rallies went past 50 strokes. This is also Lakshya's second All-England final, having lost to Victor Axelsen in the 2022 Summit Clash. This year, Lakshya will look to become the third Indian to win the All-England title. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.